episode 7 of Celtic Wave, where we hear from the surfers and their gnarliest wipeout stories. Just a warning, there is a bit of talk about blood if you're a bit squeamish. Wipeouts. They're a rite of passage, and some stories are legendary in certain circles. Every surfer has a tale of their own most dramatic tumble.
Yeah, I've lost jet skis, I've broken ribs, I've got scars all around me from being whacked by my board. I fell one time at Malkmore on like a 40-footer years ago. Something hit me into the water. To this day I don't know what it was, whether I hit the bottom or, because there's a big rock ledge there. I don't know if I hit the bottom or a board hit me. One of my mates said that he saw my board way in the sky above the wave afterwards. So I'm assuming it glanced off the side of me. It was actually the side. Something hit me here. And I wear a glass fibre helmet on the really big days. And there was actually a crack up the back of it where the energy obviously went through the helmet and exited out the back. So had I not been wearing the helmet, who knows what would have happened to me.
Two of us come off more or less simultaneously. But as often happens, the wind, the updraft of the wave will take the board up in the air and it comes down. And it comes down fin end first. Bad news, I get opened up from there down to about there. Right? And somebody carted me to St Helier General Hospital, I think it was.
There's a place just outside Bundoran. It's called Pampa Point. Very shallow. And I went, it was about 8 foot day, and I paddled too long to catch the wave when I actually knew not I shouldn't have been. And by the time I stood up, the wave had just gone like that, and the board just fell out of the wave at the top, and I went over head first with the lip of the wave, just head straight into the bottom. And I stood up, and I was in waist deep water, and there was a guy taking photographs for one of the magazines, and I just went, oh. I actually remember thinking when I hit the bottom, oh, that's not good. It wasn't actually sore, oddly enough. And he said, did that hurt? I went, no. He says, looks messy. And I went, yes. Do you get a photograph? He said, no, I hate blood.
One of my local waves, I was in the barrel and put my hand in the waves. So like you drag your hand in through the wave, and obviously there's a lot of force in those waves. So the way I describe it is, if a wave wants to eat you, you're gonna get eaten. And so it gobbled me up, and my whole arm got ripped back, and I did my rotator cuff.
And I scrambled for this board, for this next wave, and I got a rush as I went forward, and then I went up in the air, and then there was a crash, and everything went black, and I lost the board, and I was plunged down in this freezing water, came up breathless, and the board was gone, and I was so far out I just couldn't believe it. So the only thing I could do is just continuously keep swimming towards shore and hoping that each wave would push me in. And this went on for ages, I don't know how long, till eventually I made it in. But then the trouble was, on the inner side, there's a kind of a rip running sideways along the beach in Strand Hill. It runs from left to right or right to left, depending. And I hit this flat water, and I just couldn't get across it. So the finale was I was being carried down the beach, down the way. But however, as you can see, I did make it. But that was the almost awful wipeout ever for me.
I haven't had bad wipeouts, but when I was younger, I was pulled under like a storm wall. And I was only surfing for 2 or 3 years, and I had to go to the hospital to check for secondary drowning, and it was pretty scary, but I was grand after. So
I just fell on a wave and didn't come up, and just came up the next wave, rolled over me, I didn't get a breath. And but yeah, I kind of worked on a bit of training and breath hold and stuff, so kind of learning to keep calm in those situations is the main thing. But yes, I've been pretty lucky so far. I haven't had anything too major. I mean, I broke my shoulder 3 months ago, but that wasn't on a very big wave. It was just pretty unlucky.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for more content. In the next episode, we learn about the health benefits of being out in the water.
On a personal level, and I think it's the same for the young people in the Wave project, it's a way to completely escape your problems, you leave your problems on the shore.